Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening lesson here on our YouTube channel. As usual, we're going to go over some selected excerpts and we're going to prepare ourselves for the Congress that's upcoming. Okay, in the interim, if you have any questions as usual, shoot them through. If you're new to the YouTube channel, feel free to visit Kabbalah.info. There you'll find CABU Academy, where you can join like-minded people from around the world and study the wisdom of Kabbalah if you like. If you're just interested in the topic, there's also a 3-semester course on this YouTube channel, which you can freely watch at your own time and see how you go. In the interim, let's carry on with these selected excerpts, preparing ourselves for the Congress that's coming up. And we're going to be reading excerpt number 9. Okay. The prime ascension of the soul and its completeness is when all the souls merge and become one. For then they rise to the holiness, since holiness is one. Therefore, the prayer which is regarded as the soul depends primarily on the unity of souls. For this reason, a prayer is mainly in public and not alone, so that one will not be separated and alone, as this is the opposite of holiness. Rather, we must unite the holy congregation together and become one. And this is a prayer in public, and specifically in a place of prayer, for there the souls gather. This is the completeness of the prayer. All right, so let's read that again, and we'll go over it sentence by sentence. Remember, all of these things that we're reading is related to our inner work and how we need to integrate ourselves into the work of the common society, of the 10 or the group. The prime ascension of the soul and its completeness is when all the souls merge and become one. For then they rise to holiness, since holiness is one. So obviously here, right, ascension, completeness is attaining the attribute of love of others, and the action when you attain love of others is known as bestowal, right? So when everybody is loving and caring for each other and bestowing, then we all rise to that level of holiness. And therefore, the prayer, which is regarded as the soul, depends primarily on the unity of souls. So in the group, this is what we need to aspire to, right? So everybody should be striving for unity. So that's a question. What is unity? All right. So that is a still question. So we'll keep it in mind. In the group, when we're talking, when we're working, when we're doing all kinds of things together in congresses, when we're studying and so on, we should all be aspiring to be as one. Okay, like I said, what is to be one? Well, it's a question mark at the moment. For this reason, a prayer is mainly in public and not alone, so that one will not be separated and alone, as this is the opposite of holiness. Okay, so if we're separated, which means our thoughts and our intentions are only towards ourselves, that means separation. If we're all uniting to connect with each other, to be one with each other in the love of others, that's called unity. If we're only thinking about ourselves and our personal benefit, if we remain in our egoistic nature, then that is called the opposite, which is being separated from the Creator. And this is why in this world we do not perceive an upper reality, a spiritual reality, and we don't perceive a Creator either. We just perceive our narrow life and world, which is basically 3 days, right? We're born, we live, and we die. Rather, we must unite the holy congregation together and become one. So all of us must be united in thought, intention, desire, action, with everything. We should be united towards that common goal. And this is a prayer in public, and specifically in a place of prayer, for there the souls gather. This is the completeness of the prayer. Okay, so a prayer is a demand. Okay, so it's a demand that we all need to have together, common demand. And if all of our demands, if everybody's demand is to attain spirituality, which is love of others and the attribute of bestowal, then that is a vessel, and that is a complete prayer. All right, and that's what we should be striving to get to. Excerpt number 10, this is from Bala Sulam, letter 13. You should know that there are many sparks of holiness in each one in the group. When you assemble all the sparks of holiness into one place as brothers, with love and friendship, you will certainly have a very high level of holiness for a while from the light of life. Let's read that once again. You should know that there are many sparks of holiness in each one in the group. What does that really mean? Right? So if everybody comes to study with a dot in the heart, that's called a spark. So everybody has a dot in the heart. Actually, every living creature has a dot in the heart. Okay, otherwise they wouldn't be able to live. But we're talking about the human level, and inside of us, that spark of holiness is asking the question about the meaning of life. Okay, because we humans ask that question. Animals, vegetative, and still level, they don't, but we do. So what we have to do is, if we're all asking about the meaning of life, and if we're all wanting and striving to attain the meaning of life, then that means we're all a bunch of sparks in one group. When you assemble all the sparks of holiness into one place as brothers with love and friendship, you will certainly have a very high level of holiness for a while from the light of life. So all we have to do is to aim ourselves to be in that state. Okay, it doesn't matter whether we're successful or not. What matters is we aim to be that. Even though we're not there yet, we should always strive to behave like we are there. Okay, because then we can come to the right discernments as to what is disallowing us to be in love of friends. All right, so in order to come up with all the obstacles against the love of others, we have to behave in a situation like, well, how would I behave if I really did the others, really did love the others? How would I act if I am loving other people? And that is behaving with in mind the end action. Okay, just like the creator. So, good night. Okay, so just like the creator, right? The beginning, the thought, the beginning thought, the beginning act is in line with the end desire. Right? So we have to behave according to that end desire that we want to get to. And then whatever is in front of us, all the obstacles that do not allow us to love others, they should all come up to the surface. Okay, this is the same thing in life. So we're not doing anything airy-fairy. If I want to attain something in life, I'm thinking about what I want to attain, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, according to what I want to attain in life, I've got to start doing things to get closer to that goal. And as I'm working towards that goal, there'll be obstacles in front of me, right? So then I have to overcome the obstacles. So the obstacles become a leverage, a tool for me to get to where I want to get to. Okay, so we see on the path many people complain about all the obstacles, but it's like that with everything in life. Okay, so it's just how it is. There's no use complaining about it. All right, so we're moving on to lesson number 3 and the first excerpt from that lesson. This is from Rabash, letter 40. Let us hope that we will win the war on the inclination. 2, that there too we will succeed. I think there's a bit of a typo here. Let us hope that we will win the war on the inclination 2, that there we will succeed and achieve the goal of bringing contentment to the Maker. It is about time that we started moving forward toward our sacred goal like mighty, strong men. It is known that the paved road that leads to the goal is love of friends, by which one shifts to love of the Creator. Let's read that again. Let us hope that we will win the war on the inclination. As you know, our whole adventure in the wisdom of Kabbalah is to overcome our evil inclination. Okay, so we first need to reveal the evil, and then we should find the force through the environment, through the prayer, the desire, the wanting, the strength to overcome all the obstacles that come on our path. And there too, we will succeed and achieve the goal of bringing contentment to the Maker. So the whole purpose of studying the wisdom of Kabbalah is to attain the attribute of bestowal like the Creator. So if I'm moving in that direction and trying to overcome my evil inclination, then the goal of wanting to bestow to the Creator actually becomes realized. All right, so we're like kids trying to grow up, and the more we try to grow up, our parents love it. All right, and they love us for it too, because they'd like to see us grow up. Imagine how stressful and frightened they would be if we had no desire to do things. All right, so that would be like pretty horrific, because kids normally want to go around, do stuff, get stuff, right? Break things and run around and all that kind of stuff. And if we didn't have a desire to run around and do anything, we're just looking around as children, that would be a worry. So the same thing in spiritual work. We need to make sure we're up and running. Okay, up and running doesn't mean I'm running around mindlessly like a child. No, I'm running around mindfully, which means that first of all, I want to plan and intend on what I'm doing before I do anything. And then I want to measure how useful that could be for the goal. And if my intention, my actions are aligned with the outcome that I want to achieve, then we're happy to move forward with that. Okay? So what I want to do is put like a series of events before the action, why I'm doing it, what I want from the action, and so on. It is about time that we started moving forward towards our sacred goal like mighty, strong men. It is known that the paved road that leads to the goal is love of friends, by which one shifts to love of the Creator. Okay, so this is something that we all have to do. Mighty, strong men, obviously. Why? Because loving others is against our nature. So we have to be strong and we have to push forward all the time so that we can actually, try and make some effort in that direction. And if we can do that, we will come to the love of the Creator. Excerpt number 2. Any questions up to here? Or are we good? Okay. This is from excerpt number 2. Let's move on. The work of the Creator requires great persistence, whatever happens to him. Remember this well, for you will need it very much as you begin the work of the Creator. It requires great tenacity and to be strong and brave, to brace oneself and stand still, even if you're dropped down every time. You must not allow yourself to fall off altogether, for it is necessary to experience all those falls, descents, and confusions prior to entering the gates of holiness. And the true righteous, too, have gone through all of it. Know that man must cross a very, very narrow bridge. And the rule, and the most important thing, is not to be afraid. Right, this is nice. Okay, obviously it's giving us all the hints if we're going to study or if we're on the path. The work of the Creator requires great persistence. So the work of the Creator is obviously our spiritual work, right? So we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, want to get to the purpose of life, which is to attain a higher perception of reality, which is attained in the attribute of love of others. Remember this well, for you will need it very much as you begin the work of the Creator. So he's giving us a strong advice. And if we don't remember this, we see a lot of people falling off the bandwagon. It's just how it is. Okay, so just like life takes time. And so there's this. It requires great tenacity and to be strong and brave, to brace oneself and stand still, even if you're dropped down every time. Now, for this, we need a strong environment. This is why Rabash is always underlining, and Bala Salam too, in some of his articles, he mentions it. Rabash opens up the topic even more. If we have a strong environment, we will be strong on the path. If we do not have a strong environment, we will not be strong on the path. It's just easy as that. Okay, a strong family keeps everybody together and everybody's in line, everybody's got confidence towards life, and we can move forward. Weak family, everybody drops off. Everybody goes their own sweet way and nobody's around. Okay? So, same thing here. If the group is strong, if the 10 is strong, if we're all moving together, then obviously we can stay strong. We can have confidence and we can develop. You must not allow yourself to fall off altogether. This is really, really important. It's really underlining important things here. As an individual, either, let's say the environment isn't strong, okay, for a moment. If you're going to get this job done, you must not let yourself fall off. And this is a trick that we all should, keep in mind. It's like one of those, I don't know, one of those secret things in the study. You cannot let yourself fall off. No falling off. People do have dissents, for sure. And we've all had them. All of us. And I'm sure we will have many more. But to completely go off track, it's just unacceptable in the eyes of the Creator. Okay? Especially after we've been given an awakening. And especially when 99.99%, more than 99.99% of the people have no awakening at all. Just don't. Even if you try to awaken them, family, friends, whatever, you see, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So it's really a gift from above when a person is really asking, wondering, wants to discover the Creator. There's this desiriness to find the Creator. It's really a blessing from above, and a person really should not let go. For it is necessary to experience all those falls, descents, and confusions prior to entering the gates of holiness. And the true righteous too have gone through all of it. That is for sure. Like I said, I'm sure there are many more things that we need to go through. But it is a necessity, because going through the ups and downs builds wisdom inside a person. It's not just because we need to stay on track like a stubborn goat. It's because it allows us to become mature about life. Okay, so we can mature up, we can understand. As we mature in life as well, what happens? We begin to calm down, don't we? Why? Because we have an understanding. We're not like kids running around anymore. Okay, so we've slowed down, we have an understanding. When kids run around, we We smile at them, we understand. Why? Because there's wisdom in all the things that we've done in the past. Same here. All the falls, the ups and downs, they're all really, really necessary for a person to value the path, to understand why we're going through all these things as well. I think the wisdom of Kabbalah gives a person a lot of understanding about the states one is going through. And there's a lot to learn from everything that we're going through. And if we use all those opportunities, then it really helps a person to walk with confidence despite the roller coaster ride. Know that man must cross a very, very narrow bridge. And the rule, and the most important thing, is not to be afraid at all. Okay, so this is also very important. We have to understand spirituality is a tight bridge. It's also Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is also, it's like a narrow pathway. Tsar means narrow. Ra means bad. It's like a bad, tight passage. And this is how it is. We're also born that way, right? We're born, imagine a baby being born from the womb. It's a tight pass, all right? And that's really is a miracle. If you think about it, how that happens, the whole process, and then there's a baby coming out of the womb, and it's like, well, how did you get here? You know, it's like a miracle. And same thing with a person, really. Going through all these things, it's a very inner tight state. And it's just like a baby turns around, when they're born, they turn around in the womb. And our life kind of turns upside down as well. It's a completely different world. It's just boom. But that's exactly how you enter a new reality. And it's something we should value. Everything we go through is really an emotionally maturing, and it's also a wisdom enhancing opportunity and an experience. Now, I do believe we've got 2 questions. I think. Let's check it out. Okay. Ingrid's asking how to show appreciation and care towards friends who don't put any effort to move forwards, who are almost drowning into corporeality. Well, the only thing we can focus on is how to support them and how to do the best we can for them. But we also need to understand we can't do the work for them. All right. So we help them as much as we can by being a good friend, by encouraging them, by being a good example, giving them a good mood, right? Giving them a good, I don't know, a good mood so that the friends are happy when they're with us. We don't want to be complaining about their lack of effort. We don't want to complain about their laziness because we don't know what they're going through. They could be going through quite a tough time in corporeality. And it happens sometimes to friends, with family, work. Sometimes we have friends who are like really heavy with illness. And these things happen, right? So we don't want to be judgmental, but we want to be all the time there for them. We want to give them that confidence that we're always here whenever they want to come. We're always caring about them, thinking about them, and we're always, bring them back with a hug. Okay, whenever they come in through the door, we give them a hug, even though we might have not seen them for a year. I've had such friends. I haven't seen them for a year, but I've seen them in the center. They've just come for the Congress to stick their head in there for a few hours, and it's like they never left. And that's the kind of attitude it should be, because if we want to love others, the important thing is how I'm behaving towards others. Isn't that's the main thing, right? Because I want to love the other. So, yeah, keep it all in a good mood, positive, encouraging, and supportive. Elchin's asking, dear teacher, we're learning that we can use friends on the path for our spiritual development. In material life, when I use something, the pleasure cancels the desire. So I use it and move on. However, in spiritual work, how can I continue to see a friend as noble while using them for my work? Well, for one thing, our work is on an ongoing basis. So it's not like, I bought something, I ate it, and now I want to eat something else. Okay. And this is important to understand because people are changing all the time. So I have to renew my connection all the time. So it's not like I'm using somebody for the moment or for the day. All right. So think of it like marriage. Okay. So I have to use them every day. Okay. Use them every day, wash them, rinse them, dry them, and use it again. Okay. That's just how it is. Melike is no, Kadir is asking, my teacher, how can I be sure that I not fall or being already fallen from a narrow bridge? Well, if you're still coming to the lessons, okay, obviously you haven't fallen yet, okay, but a person should always be cautious. So we always have to be on guard. This is why a strong framework is important, a strong group is important. During the day, we're always falling. See, we go out to the day and nobody remembers the creator. We're running around trying to fix our daily life and nobody remembers the goal. But we must always remember to come back to the lesson, come back to the group. This is why we need to, like, all the time be in touch, be strong, be like really, really good friends. Okay, we got to be like family. So if somebody doesn't call, we should be like, well, why aren't you calling? It's like your kids, right? They go somewhere, they understand they need to call you if they went somewhere. If they don't call, you give them a good brushing. So same here, the friends should call each other. They should keep them on notice and what's going on and so on and so on. So this is the only way you can feel like you're connected with them and have a connection with them. Otherwise, it's going to be a weak group. Purpose of society number 2 from Rabash, excerpt number 3. We need a society that will form a great force so we can work together on annulling the will to receive called evil, as it hinders the achievement of the goal for which man was created. For this reason, society must consist of individuals who unanimously agree that they must achieve it. Then all the individuals become one great force that can fight against itself, since everyone is integrated in everyone else. Once again, we need a society that will form a great force so we can work together on annulling the will to receive, called evil. Okay, so what is Rabash telling us? Listen, you cannot defeat your own evil. Okay, that's what basically he's saying. So we need a strong group around us, as it hinders the achievement of the goal for which man was created. And without overcoming the evil, I can't get to the purpose of life. But listen, it's the same thing in any society, right? In society, we have to behave in a certain way, don't we? Because if we don't, society will shun us. All right? They'll refuse us. They won't want to be with us. They won't want to be friends with us. So we have to adapt and adopt society's framework. That's just how it is. Well, here we have to do the same thing. But because we're building something completely different based on bestowal, so what do we have to do? We have to make sure that everybody's like focused on the goal and we all come together to annul self-love. And if we encourage, enforce, and strengthen ourselves in the goal, then the society will be strong on me, and the strength of the society will allow me to annul myself. Because if the society is strong, I can be passive. Okay, just like in the regular world as well. That's how we can't do whatever we want when we go to work. Okay, so there's a certain standard of behavior that is acceptable and not acceptable. So the group should have an acceptable standard where it can be powerful enough to subdue our egoistic nature. All right, and this is our responsibility. We have to build that. All right. For this reason, society must consist of individuals who unanimously agree that they must achieve it. Then all the individuals become one great force that can fight against itself, since everyone is integrated in everyone else. Okay, another important thing here is the word unanimously. Everybody must understand we have the same goal. And for this goal, we're willing to do whatever it takes to make it. Okay, if there are cracks in the wall, that water is going to get through. Okay, there is no other way. So we need to understand that everybody's heart and soul and mind is just set on this goal of spirituality. And there is no other reason for us to be together, because this is not a social club. We're not a social club. We are a very goal-oriented group. And that's it, a goal-oriented group. We have a very specific profit target. We have a very specific end goal. And we don't want to waste time. Right? And this is why sometimes, the group can be also feeling a little heavy, okay, because the importance of the goal and so on, and it sometimes feels a bit heavy. But at the end of the day, we also need to keep a lofty heart so that we're also feeling comfy, as they say. All right. So we have a nice blend, but inside, everyone inside, in their heart and mind and soul, should be very serious about the goal, despite the fact that on the outside we're quite lofty and, smiling all the time. Okay. And then all the individuals become one great force that can fight against itself, since everyone is integrated in everyone else. Okay, so this is like a good team. If we're a team player and we're all wanting to be the world champions, we have to have some kind of a cohesion. Okay, we have to have this flow together. We have to be like in sync, all right, completely synchronized and in a flow. Everybody's like complementing, completing each other. And that way we can then find our flow towards the goal. And then everyone can be pretty much integrated into the role where they're supposed to complete the others. And this is also when everybody's bestowing in the group. We also discover what our speciality is. You see, every person has a talent. There is no untalented person on the planet. When it comes to bestowal, everyone has a specific talent. Now, in corporeal reality, we may feel like a complete Dumbo and never feel like we've got any talent at all. Okay. And that could be true. But when it comes to spirituality, that cannot be true, because reality is only complemented and completing when you're bestowing. This is why we have professions in life as well. So somebody's a tailor, somebody's a farmer, somebody's a cobbler. I don't know. Everybody's doing something, and our needs are being met. Right? So because of the farmers, we can eat food. Because of the, I don't know, textile manufacturers, we can get clothing. Because of, I don't know, shoemakers, we've got shoes. Doctors, they're taking care of our health. There's always something fulfilling a need, right? So this world is also working on the basis of actually giving. However, because the intention is bad, we're only giving to get paid. Okay. So it's based on self-love, but the concept is the same concept. Everybody is trying to fill in a need, but with a bad intention. Okay. But in the group, if we all decide to give instead of take with the intention to bestow, without any self gratification, then we kind of like equalize ourselves to the Creator. Then we can begin to feel this harmonious sensation in the group. You can feel that there is this calmness, completeness in the group when everybody's working in harmony together. And like Ingrid asked, sometimes there are people who are not working in the group. They're in the group, but we don't see them and so on. That does happen, but it doesn't really matter. This sensation or feeling can happen even between a few people. Right? So all we have to do is do your best, forget the rest. All right? And that's the whole idea. And that's how we should all be. Just do our best. Not everything is in our control. In fact, nothing is in our control except our personal effort, except our effort to make the influence of the environment stronger on us. So that I always remember the goal. So I always want to do something for the purpose of my life rather than waste my time, on silly things during the day, like, I don't know, like social media or whatever you guys are doing during the day. So this is why I said in the beginning of the lesson, try to think, whenever you're doing something, try to think, if I was a Kabbalist, how would I behave? What would a Kabbalist behave like right now? Okay, so try to think of that end concept, and then everything we study, we can then, kind of like suckle from all of that, and kind of, as we want to behave as the end result, now I can use the information to overcome the things I'm going through. Then the material becomes useful. Okay? The material is useful in two ways. One, I start the path and I have no idea what I want to be. Okay, because I've got no idea what a Kabbalist is, I have no idea what spirituality is, but I have an attraction to this. So then the sources are important because they slowly tell me what I should be doing. So, like, we have to unanimously agree that we're doing this. This is the purpose of our life, and everybody has to love each other. So he's giving us tips, right? So as much as we can understand, we're trying to take the advice, right? So love your friends, do this, do that, and then according to that, we're trying to behave. Afterwards, though, when we're a little bit more advanced, and we're now beginning to feel like, I want to get to the end. So I want all the actions that I do to be like spot on as much as I can. Obviously, they're going to be wrong here and there, and that's fine. But from the position I'm in now, okay, what do I need to do now with everything that I've accumulated? So after some years, we should start to like get ourselves engaged in the act that the beginning should determine the end. So the thought needs to match the end that I want. Okay. So every action I'm doing is with the intention of the end result that I'm aiming for. Right. So that should then become our way of walking on the path. All right. Let's leave it at number 4. All right. And we'll call it a night. Are there any questions? Nothing. I think we've answered everything. All right. Not a problem. All right then, guys. So hopefully we'll all get ready for Unity Day at the end of December. And then towards the end of February, as you know, last week of February, we've got the Congress. So all of us in our groups, in our tens, individually, we should strive to move forward and prepare ourselves. And we should always be on that attack mode towards those special days, because when we all come together, we can then feel the result of the work. All right. Have a good one. Have a good night. And we'll hopefully see you guys next Tuesday.